If you ask 10 people the difference between savings and investments, you will definitely get 10 different answers, right? And I think some people think they are exactly the same, which it is not, right? Others think investing is only for the rich. They think you must have a lot of money to start investing, and which is not the case, right? So, what's the difference, and why should young people understand the difference as early as possible?
Yeah, I'm one of those. Before I became this young adult, before I worked for the FSCA while I was still in my primary and high school, I couldn't draw a clear distinction.
Yeah.
I thought you could use savings and investments interchangeably. But it's only with understanding that I understood that savings mean a different thing. And investments mean a different thing. I want us to talk about this in such a way that a young person that is watching us now, there's quite a lot of things happening. There's trading. There's all of the stuff that is happening online. But I want them to understand that not everything you're trading in is investment.
Mm.
Why am I saying this? It's because, before I answer your question, it's because we are talking to young people that are on their cell phones almost 24 hours. Whether they are looking for jobs or any other investment opportunities, they go online. So they should know how to differentiate between an investment and any other trading that happens online. Before, at a later stage, we'll talk about the regulation around that, and then we'll understand why they need to also draw a distinction. But just to come back to your question about savings and investments, think of it this way. When we are talking about saving, it's taking your 100 rand. I will make an example now. Taking your 1,000 rand and putting it in a bank account, because maybe you've got a sister who's in matric. She's all to the matric dance by the end of the year, say sometime in November. Your sister's going to matric dance. So you're putting that money away in a bank. It is safe. But also you need to understand that because of how banks work and the regulation around banks, your money is always protected. But there's also a low interest end on your money. But when you think of the risk is low because it's a saving, it's in a bank, and I'm sure most people are familiar with how banks operate. The deposits, the withdrawals, and when you're watching the different products, when you want to put your money for a certain period of time, maybe in 1 day's notice account. But when we go to investments, there's a high risk, but you are risking for a higher return. It's making your money work for you. It's for people that do not want to easily access their money. Because anyway, investments have set rules that do not make you to access money as and when you wish. You have to be willing to wait for your money to work for you. But with investments, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. So what that means is that also the lower the risk, the lower the reward. So there's investment products such as your unit trusts, but I want to focus on this particular one, property, because I see mostly in the townships, most people are going to property. Property is an investment. Why is it an investment? Because I am putting money now to build my property, or the property, whether it's for rental or for renting to businesses, or for renting to, people that want to sign a lease and then rent from my place. In a long time, this property will be generating money more than what I'm using now to build it. In a long period of time, it will be generating more money, even after it has paid me back what I invested to build. So that is why I like to use the example of property, because it is most common in the townships. So one thing to draw about investments is that it's long-term. There's a high risk, but the higher the risk, the higher the return. But there's also chances that you can lose your money, especially if you do not understand the product that you are investing in. That is why now we're only referring to products such as unit trusts, shares, where people have an understanding of what sort of investments they are buying. But one thing to remember, with savings, you can access them It's just bond orientated, maybe for a short-term goal. Like I gave you an example. If you're saving now for your sister's going to material dance, you want to buy her dress, you want to pay net for her, and then you can put it in a bank because we'll access it. But investment, it's money that works for you over time. Even maybe you can access it 5 years from now. Should you try to maybe, just this last point, should you try to withdraw from your investment? Obviously, you are going to incur costs because there's a certain period of time that your money needs to sit into that investment for it to grow.
Yeah. So what I hear from you, Kai, is that a savings is something that for short term, it's for people who want to put money for a specific short-term goal. Yes. But if you want to generate, a higher interest and create wealth for yourself,
Yes.
then people should be invested. And it's very important that they know where they're investing.
Yes.